Hey, what's up, guys? And today I wanted to talk about consequences of playing on a console compared to PC. So, before I get started, I like to let you all know that I'm continuing this from the old channel. So there's not a lot of, there's probably three of these on Recoil channel. I don't think I'm gonna link that in because these aren't like necessarily like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. This is just in general, just talking about stuff. So you can just go search for them on the United Reload channel if you want to see what I talked about in the other ones. But basically, I wanted to talk about why I am so strictly PC gamer. I mean, I play games on consoles. I just highly enjoy them more on PC, and I want to talk about why. I've played competitively before on um, uh, FPSs, first person shooters, on PC. I was younger. I was okay. Um, and by competitively, I don't mean actually showing up to matches, like actually showing up to tournaments. We would just arrange them, within me and a group of guys would be, one team. But it was pretty competitive. I went up against some really good people, because I'm pretty sure you have to be 18 to actually enter like an official tournament. But we organized them out. We made like it was on this online forum where you can make it by yourself or something. You see that a lot with game battles in COD today, but we did it on Battlefield 1942, which is a much older FPS game, and probably one of my favorite games of all time because it really got me, like, I wouldn't say tryharding, but it really got me into gaming more seriously. Just because I played so competitively with these people, and we wouldn't necessarily bet anything, but we would make it so the winner, how do I put this? The winner would get certain prizes, like a good way to put it in perspective. Today on League of Legends, you can get like League of Legends cards, or maybe something like that. That the second place team would have to give up to the first place team. And it's every time you lost. So every time you lost to somebody, you would have to give up something to their team. Like you would just buy, your individual self would just give like a code to some like gift card or something to the other player. I don't know if that's even legal, but we did it. And this was years ago. Battlefield 1942. That game came out in 2001. I played it very competitively from 2003 to 2005, and then in 2008, Call of Duty 4 came out, and the entire spectrum just changed. We're not talking about FPS; we're talking about console. So played this on PC, and I think that was the only way it was available. And back then I wouldn't say it affects much because um, I mean there weren't sorry there weren't I don't even think there were any consoles out that were really groundbreaking sales. I mean, there was the PS2, I think, but that may have done well, but it really didn't. It's not nearly as effective as the PS3 or the Xbox 360. Um, there's always argument against Xbox 360 and PS3, and it makes me mad because I'm like, well, what about PC? And I think the reason why a lot of people just don't choose PC is because they just don't think about it. Like, they don't think, oh, well, that's weird playing a game on the computer. Like, I'd just assume it would be off a console, and that's how much it's changed. Because my whole point is, back in the day, Battlefield 1942, um, it it was only PCs. Like, there was, yeah, sure, there was like PS2s and stuff, but I'm talking about like FPS type games. You would not find them nearly as popular on these other consoles. But now the consoles have been slightly upgraded, and PCs have hugely upgraded. But console sales still max out compared to PCs now, and the reason I'm gonna say the pretty much the only reason is how simple it is. The console just makes everything so much easier, not only for the developers but for the people that are playing. Imagine, being, not playing a game your entire life, and then you decide, oh, I'm going to get into gaming. Would you go into PC gaming where you have to choose like what graphics cards you want, what type of PC you want, all this stuff, or you could just say, I'll just get an Xbox 360 or I'll just get a PS3. Yeah, a lot of people are going to choose a console because it's so much simpler, and also for people making the games, consoles are like all the Xbox 360s are made the exact same way, right? You may say, oh well, there's like the elite versions. Well, that's only two combinations. Same with the PS3, they're all made the same. On PCs, you're going to have different operating systems, different graphics cards, different motherboards. You're going to have all this different stuff that all the game developers have to put in mind, which makes like millions of possible combinations that they have to count for maybe like glitches or game crashes or stuff like that. And it's just excruciating for these game developers. So, I mean, it's just everyone seems to be shifting toward that, but PCs I think are really a huge advantage if you just give it a chance, and that's really the problem. A lot of people won't give it a chance because again, console rises up to the occasion again when it comes to price. PCs, a good decent PC can cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. Like that's a really good PC, and that's where you're going to get the best experience. For consoles, it's going to be about $200 to $300, and it'll last you a long time. I've had my Xbox 360 that I barely use anymore because, I'm more of a PC gamer. I never really used that much in the first place, but, I didn't know how much worse consoles would be compared to PC. So I bought it for $200. Not the day it came out. I think it was like a week after it came out. It was in 2005 or 2006, and now it's 2011. My console's still working fine. Some people get the red rings to death, but still, that's nothing. Like $200 compared to $2,000. That's everyone seems to be going for consoles. Like, oh, it's the cheaper option, but I don't think people realize how much a good quality PC. It's just absolutely amazing. The gaming experience is so much better. First of all, let's point out the mouse and keyboard. Mouse and keyboard to me are a huge advantage over just an ordinary controller. Where say you have analog sticks versus a mouse. A mouse moving across the length of your mouse pad versus an analog stick just moving back and forth a few inches. You're going to be able to, even if you turn your sensitivity up on the console, you're going to be able to have much more mobility on a PC. And then there's also the point of keyboards where, consoles may have like, 8 buttons total, 10 buttons total. And PC, you have all these buttons, you can do all this different type of stuff, like quick saving, things like that. Quick saving isn't really in multiplayer games. It's more for single player, but like you can have all this stuff that makes it so much more convenient. And it's just incredible how much it kills console in that area only, and the mouse and keyboard and versus controller, which is one of the main reasons why. The second reason why I choose PC over console is because of power. It really varies on which PC you have, because again, like I said, millions of different possible combinations for each PC that you can have. But I feel like that even though consoles are a lot cheaper, it's made easier for a lot of other people, I don't just feel like I know that PCs are absolutely like so much more dominant compared to consoles. Now again, this depends on your PC. If you're running like some 60s computer, yeah, obviously the console's going to be more powerful. But I would say my PC is like for me, my expectations, I rate my PC as like pretty bad because I have pretty high expectations as a gamer on PC because I really like a high quality PC. And then, compared to console, my PC is probably about 6 times more powerful than the console. And like I said, I really think this PC is a piece of junk. So 5 times more powerful than that. And what does that mean? It just means that things like it can just handle more. You can run. The game will run faster. I don't want to say less lag because in games like COD, there's still lag because of non-dedicated servers. But that's a different topic for a different day. But I would say if I were to get the PC, my ideal PC in my mind, it would probably be about 9 to 10 times more powerful than a console. And this would just amazingly help everything. First of all, you could just max out your graphics completely, make the game look so much better if you max out the graphics, whereas you couldn't do that on console because it's not powerful enough, it just can't handle it. Um, because, yeah, it only costs $200 and there's only one possible combination for the game developers to make, but it's so weak compared to the PCs. And there's also the mouse and keyboard advantage, like I mentioned earlier. But the community looks at this and they don't. Really don't think that they realize all these advantages to PC, at least in my opinion. So they don't give it a chance. They just say, "Oh, the mouse would be weird and the keyboard would be weird." But if you start playing with it, I think you realize that it gets a lot more convenient than just an ordinary controller. And they say, "Oh, I'm more used to controller. Console is cheaper. It's all this stuff." And it'll last me longer. I won't have to upgrade it as much, but it's just so much more weak and less convenient in the controller area, in my opinion. I guess you could say I'm slightly biased because like I said again, I come from, playing Battlefield 1942 competitively, air quotes, since I didn't actually go to physical tournaments. You know, I pointed that out because I wanted to prove, that I've had a lot of experience with PCs, and I've also had a lot of experience with consoles. It's not just, oh, I've had so much experience with PCs, and it's like a console controller is just like, like alien to me. No, I've played both a fair amount, especially when Call of Duty 4 came out. I hadn't upgraded my PC yet, and it was terrible. It wouldn't be able to run Call of Duty 4, so I said, yeah, alright, you know what, I'm just going to do this one on console, and that's, I already had my Xbox, and that's when I was playing Call of Duty 4, which of course was the huge spurt of COD. But, shoot, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, console, it just limits you so much. So I played a lot at Call of Duty 4, played a lot of console there, and then I compared it to my past experience with Battlefield 1942. And even my experience now playing a bunch of games on PC, it's just, even though the advantages are like there are less advantages, like on a list I would have 2 or 3 advantages to PC, and like convenience seems like a huge advantage, but overall I really think that the extra money is worth on buying a PC. And it sucks because there's no way to teach the community this. The only way that they can find out themselves is spending $2,000 on I don't want to say $2,000 because you can get a pretty decent PC if you build it yourself. But still, it's hard to teach the community this because the only way they can find this out is by buying, like a $1,000 PC. And why would they want to do that when the option is right there for a, $200 console? So I think it strictly comes down to price and convenience is the reason why people choose console. And it's really kind of sad the way it's done that way because people don't get to actually test out a PC. You may say, oh, well, I go to Best Buy and they let me like click around on my computer and stuff. It's really cool. What do they let you get to play the game? Do they let you get to play like hours of gameplay? No. And that's what sucks about this. There's no convenient way to have people experience both sides of gaming unless they actually go out and buy the stuff. And a lot of people don't do that, and that's the reason why console is so elite in sales compared to it. Also, I'm going to bring up a quick sales info to prove my point just there. Says here for Battlefield 3, so I think Battlefield 3 sales were a little bit less than COD sales for Modern Warfare 3. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this still just shows the range difference for consoles. And I'm not trying to say that Xbox is better than PS3. This is like legit sales info. My point is that PCs are less popular than console by this sales stat. So listen to this. On the day of Battlefield 3 release, and by the way, Battlefield 3 has nothing to do with Battlefield 1942 that I mentioned earlier. It's a completely different game, completely different series. Battlefield 1942 is old. So anyways, on the release of Battlefield 3, the day of the release, there were 2.2 million copies sold to Xbox 360 users, 1.5 million copies sold to PS3 users, and less than 490,000 copies were sold to PC users. So this just proves my whole point about PC being way less, like way less popular. And again, I know that in that stat, particularly that stat, um, Xbox sales happen to be higher. That's not my point in this. I'm not trying to say that Xbox is better or any of this stuff. I'm just saying that consoles in general are much more popular than You heard this stat. It was like 2 to 4 times more popular than the consoles were. So it's just insane the amount of people that choose it. And again, it's because of ignorance. And I'm not saying that people are ignorant, like they're not trying to be. There's just really no way. Hold on 1 second, my dog was in. Hey puppy, making a video. Anyways, um, there's no way for these people to find out. So it's not really their fault that they're ignorant because, I mean, there's no way to find out unless they actually buy the thing. So, that's all my thoughts for now. I personally think that PC is dominant in my experience. Even though I mentioned all this stuff, I think it's more powerful and all this stuff. There's still going to be some people that just enjoy the console better because they're more comfortable with it. And that's fine. I'm just trying to prove that a lot of people don't know both sides of the story. Like, don't know about both things. Don't know about both ways to play the game. We'll put it that way. So, lead back your creative criticism. Just try to keep it, under control. This series is this series is potentially controversial. So, meaning, a lot of people are going to disagree with me, stuff like that. Just try to keep it under control. I mean, I'm fine arguing with people as long as we, get to a point where it's like, all right, let's just agree to disagree because neither of us are going to budge on this one. So anyways, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.